Alright guys, this is Galaxies. This is pulled from a Prezi. I'll put the link for it in the description bar so you can see the whole thing. But this kind of picks up where the Big Bang notes left off. So we're going to see if we can make this work. Alright, so galaxies. There are three types of galaxies that you need to be very familiar with. The basics for them is that they all have to have a star. At least one in it. They contain dark matter, and you will be researching what is dark matter and how is it used. All galaxies are held together by gravity, and most of them, it says the basics, most of them appear red in color due to redshift. So the first one that we're going to look at is a spiral. This has a hub or kind of a circular bump in the center, and then it has arms, kind of like the barrel of monkey arms, that come off of that center hub. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is a spiral, and these galaxies tend to be full of middle-aged stars and lots of dust, and that's usually like hydrogen and helium particles that have clumped together. So this is the basic picture of what a spiral galaxy looks like. If you notice, there's a center piece to it, and then there's arms that radiate or come off of that center. The next one is called an irregular galaxy. These are non-symmetrical, meaning that there's no place that you could cut it in half and it's the same on both sides. They have no true shape. They kind of just look like a blob. They're full of very young stars. So if you remember back to our stars cycle, these would be full of like the nebulas and some very early star formations. And they're smaller than other galaxies because they're still full of new stars and they're still developing their gravitational pull and forces. So this is an irregular galaxy picture. If you look, there's not really a place that you could cut it where it would be the same on both sides. An elliptical galaxy looks kind of like you took a ball of like Play-Doh and kind of smushed it. If you look in the picture above, there's a couple that you can see that they're circular in motion, but there's no arms that radiate or come off of it. These are full of very old stars, and there's not very much dust because the heat of the stars dying out has burned off a lot of that dust. So this is a picture of redshift and blueshift. Remember, redshift is when the wavelengths are getting farther apart, so the crests or the troughs are getting farther away from each other. And then blue wavelength is when stuff tends to move forward towards us because the wavelengths then get smaller. So redshift is another review. Red moves away, creating longer wavelengths. Blue moves closer, creating shorter wavelengths. And then let's look at some other ideas. This is mainly about the people within. So this is our people of space. The first guy is Edwin Hubble. He helped prove that the galaxies existed and that he showed pictures of galaxies beyond ours. The Hubble telescope that we've looked at pictures from is named after him because he helped develop the technology and the schematics or the plans to build it. The next couple guys are Kepler and Brahe. They worked to show, and they worked a long time ago. So these would be two men that you could do your research on. They worked to show that the orbits of our planets happened and that it's not the sun, that Earth is not the center of the universe, but that the sun is. And then they showed how the planets' orbits are affected by gravity. So these two guys helped to prove that it's not a circle, that it's that elliptical kind of oblong shape. And then Galileo Galilei, we've talked about him. He worked on the very first telescopes. He developed the things that would then allow Brahe and Kepler to look into the stars and form these grand ideas, and then allow later Hubble to develop his telescopes. So these are some very influential men of space. I think that's it. So hopefully this has gotten you at least a jumping point for your research or questions to go search out. And yes, have a wonderful afternoon. I will see you in the hallways.